Hi everyone, welcome to EB Education Consult. Um, as promised earlier, today and tomorrow we're gonna have a workshop um, on scholarships for study abroad and specifically towards brilliant and but needy people. For today's workshop or presentation, we will focus mainly about the introductory aspect. We will look at what a scholarship is, and then we will look at when one can apply for a scholarship, um, and we would also look at some of the available scholarships, whether merit based or need based scholarship, and the required documents for application for various scholarships, as well as what one needs to do when searching or applying for scholarships. All right. I would start by saying that I became interested in this topic because oftentimes I see people out there who are very brilliant. They have excelled in their various secondary school examination, and yet finding the funds associated to study in a university or a higher institution become quite problematic. The few people who are able to go through this sometimes have to rely on benevolence of others to enable them foot the cost, the tuition fees, the hostel and accommodation fees, as well as academic related fees, usually in their home countries. However, in other jurisdictions, there are several scholarship opportunities available for people to explore, um, to study for free. So, I will start by explaining what a scholarship is. And basically, a scholarship is used loosely to mean the opportunity to study at no cost or funding your studies through external or institutional resources. It's a money given to you towards your study, and this you do not have to pay the money back. Unlike um, student loans, where after completion and working, you have to start paying back the loan. Scholarships are free money for individuals who pursue them. In the context of this introduction, I will talk about two main types of scholarships: the full scholarship and partial scholarships. Full scholarships are usually towards tuition fee payment. They cover your living allowances, including accommodation, transport. Some of them can cover your visa application cost and your travel cost. Let's say you are Ghanaian and you gain a full scholarship to study in the United Kingdom. Some of this scholarship may foot your return ticket, which means that the ticket that will send you to UK and the ticket that will send you back to your home country after your studies, they will take care of that. And there are partial scholarships. Sometimes partial scholarships are covering only your tuition fees. So, for example, in UK, some studies might cost as much as 19,000 pounds sterling, and the scholarship might decide to take cover only the tuition fee. So you have to pay for the accommodation, you have to pay for your visa processing cost, your transportation, your living expenses, food and everything. Others too, even with their tuition, they will pay maybe 50%, which is also still partial scholarship. So always when people are talking about scholarships and they are telling you that you qualify for scholarship, Depending on your capability, find out more about what type of scholarship it is, whether it is a fully funded scholarship or a partially funded scholarship. Where can one obtain a scholarship? And in this case, it can be both home country or abroad. I have seen, for example, at the University of Ghana, they have instituted a scholarship scheme for certain category of students. So if you're a Ghanaian looking for scholarship, you can look within your country. Outside too, there are a lot of scholarships available, which we are going to delve into most of them. In 2015, I had opportunity to gain a scholarship to study um, at University of Ghana, and that same year I also had a scholarship to study at the Czech University of Life Science in the Czech Republic. And I had to choose between these two because I couldn't enroll concurrently for both programs. So in the end, I chose to study outside. And because the package was quite interesting for me to study outside compared to um, that which was for Ghana. So always depending on your preference, you can look within for scholarships. For example, in Ghana, we also have the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, which sponsors studies both within Ghana and outside Ghana, as long as the applicant fulfills the required requirements. And then who okay, so there is one more point. When can one look for a scholarship or search for a scholarship or find scholarship? So I think broadly, I will categorize the time in two. So the first is when you are about entering the university. So there are some scholarships that you can apply during the admission process. So once you're admitted, you gain this scholarship and then you enroll without having to pay anything right from the beginning. For other scholarships, you may have to be already enrolled and then you will be qualified to apply for them based on the certain criteria spelled out for those scholarships. All right. That said, who is a brilliant but needy? And I'm going to use brilliant and needy or brilliant but needy interchangeably in the sense of the fact that somebody might be brilliant and not needy, but still being brilliant is rewarding when it comes to gaining scholarship. So you don't have to necessarily be needy before you would access scholarships. That is the first point we should take note of. The second point is that you don't have to be extremely brilliant before you can obtain the scholarship. You can be needy and still obtain the scholarship. There are scholarships specifically set aside for needy people. But what is important is that you must always meet the criteria spelled out for any of the scholarships you are going to look out for. So, brilliant people are usually people who have excelled in their academic pursuit. Like if it is a high school examination, they have scored the A's, they have scored the six A's, the five A's, and all that. If it is post undergraduate studies, first class students, second class upper, 3 point the GPA 3.5 and above, or maybe 3.2 and above, will put you in a category of being brilliant in a way. So needy usually comes in terms of financial constraint, or it's more economically defined according to the minimum wage of the family or the economic status of the family. So people who would be regarded as poor, or even if not just people, a certain region that is classified as economically weaker countries or jurisdictions might have access to certain scholarship just by dint of their location or the country's economic status. All right, so let's move on to the next. Um, when preparing to study on a scholarship, there are certain things to consider, and I have listed some of them here. Define the terms under which you want to study, whether you want to study under full scholarship, or if you are given partial scholarship, or um, tuition free if you're able to. In most cases, if you are needy and you are living under a certain economic threshold, for which reason you cannot afford to enroll in universities in your own home countries at even a cheaper cost, then it becomes necessary for you to um, look out for fully funded scholarships which will cover your tuition, your living expenses, and probably your airfare tickets, and then um, your visa processing stuff. If it is internal scholarship you are looking for, again, you can look for um, complete or full tuition and stipends towards your living. Probably if you are from Cape Coast and the university is in Cape Coast and you are offered tuition free, probably you can manage the rest. So always you have to know under which condition you want to study, even if you are going for scholarship, and whether that will be helpful for you to complete your studies or not. Second, you also have to consider the study destination. There are several countries, regions which are offering scholarships for international students. So be sure that you know where you want to study. And the third is to know which study program you want to embark on. Sometimes knowing the study program will help you even define the country which would offer you the best out of the program you intend to study. So these are factors you have to consider. And then when you want to embark on the study, when we talk about when you want to embark on the study, depending on the academic level you find yourself, you may start preparing towards a particular scholarship far in advance. Maybe you have 2 years, you have 3 years, you have 1 year to start the study. So then you read about the program, the scholarship requirement, and the documentations required, and then you start preparing yourself that following your graduation from secondary school or from undergraduate, you are going to continue. You are not going to wait for a year, or maybe you wait for one year to get certain re- required credentials before you embark on a study abroad. At this juncture, I would also ask my audience to um, put their questions in the comment section along the line, so that when it's time for question and answers, I would attend to their questions accordingly. For the purpose of this workshop, I want to go into details on two kinds of scholarships. We have merit-based scholarships, and merit based scholarships are scholarships that are given on condition of fulfilling certain achievements. For example, merit-based scholarship can be given based on one's academic excellence. For example, I told you there are scholarship called Science Excellence Scholarship, and they are given to first class students or second class upper students. And if you are not within this category of academic excellence, you are automatically disqualified. Um, Again, for exhibiting a special talent or a talent for which the university or institution you intend to study is interested in. In the United States of America, certain scholarships are reserved for athletes or sports person, and if you possess what they need and you are very competitive, you might enroll and study for free on a merit-based scholarship. Also, if you are able to demonstrate exceptional trait or quality, for example, in the theater art industry, if you are seen as a great person with potentials and you have exhibited that through your deeds, you can attract a merit-based scholarship. And it is merit-based because it is based on your potential, the skill that you possess, that they're going to offer you this scholarship. And the last criteria that will offer someone a merit-based scholarship is the person showing leadership or community service. Some universities and institutions or scholarship agencies want to see how useful you are to your community, how well you would be able to serve your community if you are supported in your studies. So, as a requirement, they would want you to demonstrate some form of community service or leadership skills. And if you are offered scholarship based on your leadership skills or your service to the community, it is termed as a merit-based scholarship. Examples of merit-based scholarships are listed here. These are few of them. I have a lot of them, and I'm gonna put them in the description of this presentation so you can check the rest out later. So we have the Fulbright Foreign Student Program, which is for postgraduate studies in the United States. In the comment section. Okay. Okay. All right. So sorry for the break. So we have a lot of programs or merit-based scholarships listed here. Um, the Fulbright is for postgraduate studies. PG stands for postgraduate. It's fully funded, includes your tuition, living cost, and research expenses. So whenever a person attracts a Fulbright and it's offered in the US universities. I think there is also a version of this for undergraduates and also professionals, early career professionals or researchers. So this is something you can look out for depending um, on your field or where you are in your academic pursuit. We also have the Herbert H. Humphrey Fellowship, also in the United States, for professional development of mid-career professionals and for its postgraduate. And then we have the Chevening Scholarship, which is also postgraduate. It's merit-based, covers full tuition and living expenses for outstanding leaders. You can see it's emphasized here, leaders, outstanding leaders. And then we have the Rhodes Scholarship, It's offered in the United States and covers full tuition, living expenses, and research support at uh, Oxford. We have the Vania Canada Graduate Scholarships, which is for postgraduate, and as you can see, one can earn 50,000 per year for PhD students, and this is for their living expenses after it has covered their tuition and related costs. We have also Pierre Elliott Trudeau's Foundation Scholarship, also in Canada, and it funds PhD students in humanities and social sciences. We have the DAD scholarship, also postgraduate, fully funded masters and PhD scholarships for African students. And with the DAD scholarship, you can take some in African countries, and for some, you can take in Germany. Yeah. So check them out. Tomorrow we are going to dive into the details of some of these um, scholarships, the application requirement or what one the eligibility criteria, and then how to apply for them. We'll go to the these, and then you can learn how to do it on your own. So don't miss tomorrow's session. We also have the Emily Botmy Scholarship. It's for undergraduate and postgraduate. It's merit based, funded at the Science Po for international students, uh, and that is in France, I think. And then we have university specific scholarships in Australia, funding a lot of uh, studies for African students. And we have some example to be University of Sydney International Scholarships. Now let's look at need-based. What qualifies as a need-based scholarship? Scholarship offered to marginalized group of people, people who are less represented in a certain field. For example, um, we in the United States they have the black community quite marginalized and stuff, and they can institute a certain kind of scholarship just to bring them to a certain level of academic interest or academic attainment. We also have need-based scholarship for based on the vulnerability of the applicant. So there are certain scholarships that are targeted to women, for example, to get women's involvement in STEM education, in technical education and stuff. So they will put the scholarships for women from blah blah blah, or they will say women are encouraged to apply. So this is need-based scholarship based on the the social status, the gender, or whatever of the person, and also how these people are needed in a particular field. And also, we can have a need-based scholarship based on geographical location, and a lot of them are related to scholarships for developing countries or global south. So you can use qualifies all the terms that qualify you to search for such scholarship. Developing country, global south, sub-Saharan Africa, Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, whatever you use based on your geographical location. And then there is the one which is based on one's economic status. Um, if you live below a certain threshold of the national wage, you might qualify. And this scholarship specifically will want you to prove the income of your family to make sure that yes, you meet the criteria set for such individuals. So let's say you have barely managed to study your secondary school and pass successfully thanks to free education, secondary education in your country, or because somebody sponsored you, your family is living on subsistence, like from hand to mouth, and you have excelled so much and want to pursue further studies. But even if you consider university in Uganda or Ghana, you are not going to manage the fees and associated living expenses. So you leverage these scholarships offered by various countries outside Uganda or Ghana to attract scholarships to study abroad or to study for free and fulfill your academic dream. And that is allowed. Examples of need-based scholarships are listed here. There is the MEST scholarship, which is offered in Japan to African students. It covers full tuition fee, monthly stipend for your living allowance, transport, food, accommodation. There is also the travel allowance for African students, that's air tickets, and if there is a need for you to travel home for certain research and stuff, you will be funded. There is also the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, and it's for both undergraduate and then postgraduate studies. It covers full tuition, accommodation, and living expenses. We have the Ashinaga African Initiative, fully funded orphanage students from Africa, Commonwealth Shared Scholarship for postgraduate, and it's taking um, in the UK, and you have to be associated to a Commonwealth country, of which Ghana is one, and most colonies of the British um, are they qualify for such students from these colonies qualify for this kind of scholarship. There's also the Rich Oxford Scholarship, also in UK, covers full tuition, accommodation, and stipend for African students. We have the Lester P. Pearson International Scholarship in Canada, full funding for exceptional international students at the University of Toronto. Also, another one at British Columbia University, and it's called International Scholars Program, need-based financial aid for international students. And then in France, we have the Campus France Eiffel Scholarship, covers tuition, monthly allowance, and flight tickets for African students. And then the Chinese government scholarship. There's also the Korean government scholarship, Australian award scholarship. A lot of them that I couldn't list here. Um, Probably, as I said, I'm going to put them in the description so you can look out for them. And maybe um when we move further, I will show you how to also find these scholarships. There are easy steps to take to search for these scholarships and, if necessary, apply for them. So, before we dive into that, let's look at some of the general uh, documents required for scholarship applications, so you have knowledge of and then prepare accordingly. I had one lady contact me to help a cousin study. The cousin wasn't even aware and wasn't prepared for such a journey. And basically, following his graduation, all that he has is his certificate. But you need several documents to be able to complete a scholarship application. And so, one, you must have a passport, because if you intend to study abroad or you are applying for the scholarship abroad, it is required that you travel to uh, the destination of the institution offering you that scholarship, and you need a passport to apply. And you, even during the application process, you are asked to provide your passport number for some scholarships, not all scholarships though. Um, Also, we have academic certificates. If you are a high school graduate, you need your high school certificate. If you are a graduate, bachelor's graduate, you need your bachelor's certificate. If you're a master's graduate applying for PhD or another master's, you need all the certificates. Again, academic transcript. Academic transcript must be requested from the institution where you pursue your studies. They are not given um, automatically, and usually people request for transcripts when they intend to study outside. So know this: if in the course of your study you intend to study abroad or go for further studies, note that you have to apply for your transcript upon graduation so that you can use it subsequently for your application. Language proficiency certificate, depending on the destination and the language requirement for the particular scholarship, you may need um, a language proficiency certificate. For example, there is one Erasmus Mundus scholarship that I have posted on my YouTube channel. This scholarship, if you're Ghanaian, you studied in English, you don't have to provide English language certificate. But there is another criterion where if you're an English user, you must demonstrate proficiency up to a certain level, let's say A1 or A2 in another language, probably German or Spanish or something. And this you have to take probably extra courses or lectures to fulfill this requirement. So language proficiency certificate might be necessary or not. If you're a high school graduate, some universities, for example, in Canada, will recognize a certain score for your English exams in your WASI. If you get up to C6 or so, I think it will be accepted. You will not need to write. In other instances, you may need to write a TOEFL or IELTS. You may need to write SAT and all that and meet a certain score as required by the um, institution or the school where you want to pursue. Also, for secondary school levels, testimonial testimonial will be needed. So take note of it. Academic transcript is not readily available from the secondary school, so you have to write to your secondary school, and they will prepare the term. They will prepare one for you. I know some high school graduates who have approached me, and they have demonstrated or have shown their transcript from their secondary school. So always ask from your head of academics, and it will be done for you. Depending on the level you are in your academic journey, you may be required to provide CV or not. Rarely do I see people applying for undergraduate ask for CV. In some instances, they do ask, but it's quite rare. So if you are SHS graduate, that's not too much of a requirement. But if you are a person who have gone through undergraduate studies, worked and all that, they need to see you, they want to see experience, they want to see some courses that you took and all that. So that's needed. Recommendation letters or reference letters, as you may call it, provided on your behalf by people who know you, whether professionally or academically. So with this, you must have a certain association with people who can testify about you, who can write good information about you and your academic excellence to convince the scholarship offices to offer you the scholarship. And the last I want to talk about is what we call motivation letters, statement of purpose, personal statement, cover letters. I'm going to talk into det. I'm going to talk about this in detail next week. Yeah, next week I'm going to talk about this particular topic, and so I will not emphasize too much here, but you basically have to express why you must be giving the scholarship by aligning what you have on your CV, your resume, and to the program of interest or the scholarship package, and why you stand out and must be considered for that scholarship. Searching and applying for scholarship. So, bef- you might be tempted to apply for every scholarship or any scholarship just because you heard that you don't have to pay and they are offering some monthly stipend and stuff. But every scholarship has a criteria they are looking for. So if you ask me, I studied agriculture. Can I use my credentials to apply for uh, a scholarship for Masters in Business Administration? My first instinct and answer would be no, you don't have to, because you'll be competing with people who have a background in business administration. And the first thing the scholarship will look out for is whether you have fulfilled some fundamental obligations or courses that will help you succeed in the master studies. And agric and business studies are far apart. So you might not want to just use your agriculture background to apply for business scholarship, because it will you would be left out. Even some of them will go the extra mile to talk about related programs that will qualify, maybe Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Business Administration, Bachelor of Economics and stuff can apply for this, not for agriculture people. So always take note. So the first thing you need to do is to research and identify suitable scholarships. Again, I will use the agriculture as the premise to discuss this. For example, if you study Bachelor of Agriculture, there are several aspects of agriculture you come across. You would come across soil science, agriculture engineering, animal science, crop science, agriculture economics, and extension. In case your interest is in agriculture, extension, and economics, you can look out for scholarships specifically in this area, or you can look at which aspect of these courses you excelled most. Even sometimes you can leverage your agriculture background to apply for um, scholarship in environmental sciences, because you might have dealt with some irrigation, you might have done with soil sciences and all that, and that can help you. So, yes, you must research and identify suitable scholarships. And as I have said, some are need based, some are um, merit based or country specific. So, how to find them? You can check university website for institutional scholarship. The easiest approach to looking for scholarship or to searching for suitable scholarship is to use your Google search engine. Yeah, Google search engine, you just type in master scholarship for international student in agriculture, and then it will list all that you qualify. So make good use of your internet and your Google search. These days there even AI, and in some group chats there is the Meta AI, and you can type there specifically Meta, what are the what are the scholarships available for international students from Ghana, and it will list a lot of them. Probably not exhaust all the list, but they will give you a fair idea of how to find some scholarships. Apart from checking the website of the university, there are also other government scholarships. There is the Czech government scholarship, Australian government scholarship, Korean government scholarship, Chinese government scholarships, the Chevron UK scholarship. I talked about the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Several of them. Ghana Scholarship Secretariat offers a lot of scholarship for deserving students. You can look out for this. There are also private and NGO sponsored scholarship, and I mentioned some of them: the Mastercard Foundation, the Joint Japan World Bank scholarships, and all this. You can also what I did since 2012 was that I subscribed to certain scholarship newsletters where they would update their portfolio. There was one which was called Advanced Africa Scholarship. I think it originated from Kenya, and I'm not quite sure if it still exists. But this advanced scholarship was presenting monthly basis all scholarships that were available, their deadlines. When you read into details, you will find the criteria if you meet them or not. And not even only that, they were also um, reporting on jobs, training, internships, and all that. So it is important to try to subscribe um, to some of these um, scholarship newsletters. There is a scholarship portal, there is a scholarship for development, there is a scholarship positions, that scholarship, there is Opportunitypedia, there is scholarships corner, a lot of them. And my own channel, I am using it to educate and update people on the available scholarship on timely basis. So if you subscribe, if you have subscribed, you would get notified whenever there is a release of scholarship news. You should understand the scholarship requirements, and here, as I said, tomorrow we will look at specific scholarships and their requirements. So uh, take note of this and prepare and come with your questions. So you should know, despite being scholarship, whether need based or merit based, you must first fulfill the admission criteria, which sometimes is based on a cutoff point based on your GPA or your um, secondary school certificate score if you are applying for undergraduate, or GPA if you are applying for postgraduate. If the scholarship is meant for people who have 3.0 over 4.0 GPA scale, grading scale, and you have 2.7, 2.9, you are disqualified automatically. So you must, and after you search for the scholarship, dive deep and you go through each of them and identify first if you fulfill the eligibility criteria. Some scholarship would expect that you have exhibited some leadership skills, some community service. I have mentioned all this, of volunteering work, or maybe you have some special skills that will be needed in the um, in your field of study. So whenever you have the opportunity, get involved in such um, activities. Take leadership roles, whether in high school or whether you are in the university when time permits. It could be a section of your student body, be it religious or uh, club, you know, And by student club, I mean, for example, they will have the Association of Agriculture Students, they have the Association of Become Students and all that, make good use of them and act, serve, and use them to advantages when you are writing about your motivation. You have to demonstrate that you know this. And then, yeah, if it's a financial based or need based scholarship, and you have to demonstrate the income of your country, you don't know how to go about it and stuff, you can get some experienced person to show you. For example, my mother, she never had any bank account, and it would be so difficult to prove that she this is how much she earned and stuff. Probably I just have to write through my stories and get people to validate that for me. But yeah, in developed countries or in some instances, you'll be required to provide a proof of it. Are you going to get this proof? If you are going to get this proof, kudos and go ahead. If you can't get this proof, you don't have to worry your head. And then you have to see if your research interest, for especially for the postgraduate, your research interest align with the scholarship's objective. um, these days, even when people are advertising position for agriculture, scholarship for agriculture purposes, they are looking for the integration of AI in agriculture and all that. And if you are not the kind of person who wants to venture into AI or have at least some prerequisites needed to be able to go on that tangent in your research, then you don't bother. And some of you also think you have your own research that you want to pursue, and somebody must at all cost um, sponsor it. It doesn't happen that way unless you are challenging yourself and you are presenting a very competitive research topic. Otherwise, check with your um you must check with the institution and the scholarship requirement and craft your research objectives to align with that accordingly. I sorry for the break. Please put your questions over there because I'm going to attend to them in the next few minutes. If you will not have any questions, then um, I we will be able to end quite early. But if you have questions, please put the questions in the comment sections, and let's address them along the line. Thank you very much. You have to maintain academic excellence. For example, the merit base. I have a lot of scholarship news on my channel, and they are excellent scholarship, and so you have to maintain a certain decorum, a certain level of academic excellence, and this you have to be you have to be prepared to take those opportunities. And so whilst at school already, try to make effort to excel as long as possible, as much as possible. Excel in your GPA. Not only GPA is important for you to attract scholarship, but it's very important. So don't ignore that. Rarely people do get not so high GPA and still manage to get some scholarships, but it can be one or two out of thousands. So maintain a good GPA, first class, second upper, grade, minimum, second lower. If required, prepare for standardized tests. For some universities, writing standardized English tests or GRE, graduate record exams, is non-negotiable. So you have to get them. And sometimes, even if it is not very required and it's optional, adding them will put you at a better advantage over people who do not have them. Mind you, scholarships are quite competitive. The fact that you are needy from Ghana and thinking of applying for this, there are 1,000 more needy people from India also applying for that, from Bangladesh applying for that, from Nigeria applying for that, and all that. So that is not just enough qualification. You must have something beyond being needy, and that can be your GPA, that can be a high score, that can be a leadership skills, and several other factors. So please take note and act accordingly. Some scholarships require math or science Olympiad achievement. I remember that several years ago, some um, finalists of, and I think they quite do it yearly, that the National Science and Maths Quiz organized in Ghana, the finalists are usually offered scholarships within the country or outside the country, and when they go, they still do great. So I think this is enough evidence to show that some scholarships require math or science Olympiad achievement. Participate in these competitions if relevant or if you find yourself um, fit for that. But not every one of us would be able to do that. So if you have not achieved that and you think your chance of attracting such scholarship can be hindered by the fact that you have not participated, look for other scholarships that are not requiring this and where you have upper hand. I would say that if you, well, I will, if you are applying for scholarships and they have said about 10 criteria that you must meet, and you meet all these 10 criteria, that is the best. I would still advise that if you meet 9, 8, and the other two are not too strong requirements, you can still put in the application. But the best is to meet all the requirements so that um, you know that at least when it comes to meeting the established criteria, you qualify. So maybe you can pass the first stage of screening to maybe interview stage or whatever it is. So do search for scholarships where you meet all the criteria. That's important. You have to build strong extracurricular profile. I have said, get involved in leadership roles, serve your community, or engage in social impact project, because I want to measure my scholarships. I always say an investment on the part of the institutions offering them, and they want to see that they want to see that you use the knowledge gained through their sponsorship for the benefit of your community or the generation or for the betterment of the world. And this, you should demonstrate that you are taking steps or you have taken steps that will guide you even to do more following your scholarship or following your graduation. There are some scholarships that require specific skills or certain skills, and so whenever possible, especially for postgraduate studies, learn more about the scholarship. If you didn't get this training or skills from your traditional classroom studies during your undergraduate studies, leverage online courses. Some of them are free to get certifications and not just the certifications but also the skills, so you can demonstrate during an interview that I have these skills which would be very useful when I am accepted to study days on scholarship, and it will add to your chance or qualification. Um, if necessary or where possible, participate in competitions and conferences, science conference, fair, essay contest, and all that. You can write all that because they want to see that your academic material and you also want to contribute to the scientific community following your studies. So, whenever possible, don't miss any opportunity to build a CV for yourself, a CV that will make you stand out from the rest of your competitors when it comes to applying for scholarships to study abroad. And then you must craft a winning scholarship application. Again, I told you I'm going to talk about the personal statements and all the application essays later next week. So I'm not going to talk deeply about it, but the quality of your application documents, such as your application essays, recommendation letters, your resume or CV, uh, would be very, very useful to your success or otherwise of obtaining scholarship. So don't take those for granted, especially when it comes to recommendation letters. When you are in school, don't just go through the school. Get to know your lecturers. Let them know you. Have a relationship with them so that when they have to write about you, they can write convincingly, confidently, and strong about your ability to succeed. Remember that if they give you a recommendation and you go and perform abysmally, their reputations their reputation is at stake. So they will not vouch for someone they are not familiar with so much, or that they are not convinced about their ability to succeed. And so they will just draft any general recommendation for you, and that will be it. But if you know the person, if you have excelled in their course and stuff, even if you didn't perform so well in other courses, they will write based on how well you did in their course. So identify the lecturers who call whose course you excel at, who you have relationship with, and ask them for recommendation letter, and they will do well. I have um I have I think two presentations on CV on my YouTube channel. Check them out because writing um, an effective CV is useful. Some scholarships will tell you the selection criteria or how they would assess you. They will assess your maybe academic performance through GPA, maybe 40%. They are assessing your letter of recommendation 20%, your CV, professional related experiences 20%, uh, statement of purpose 20%. That is 100%. So you see, just being a first class student might score you just 40%. If you are not able to write great story about yourself through the essays, if you don't get a professor to write confidently and convincing about you, you are losing mark. If your CV is everywhere and you're not doing great with your CV writing, you're losing. You're definitely losing. So it's very important to make sure that your application documents stand out. You might not be too experienced in this area, so always do your part, watch videos, read more, do your part and have a second person, ideally an experienced person, review your document for you, advise you on what must be added, what must be subtracted, um, and all that, so that you bring your application documents to a certain satisfaction before you send them out. And then you must prepare for scholarship interviews if required. Some scholarships will call you for an online interview, and it's very important that you prepare for them. I had one live session um, on my YouTube channel. The video is still available. How to prepare for them, what you need to do before the interview, what you need to do during the interview, and what you need to do post the interview. So you can check them out for detail. But again, here we have that you should practice answering common interview questions, and then you have to be in terms of practicing, you must understand why you deserve this scholarship. Why do you think that you should be offered this scholarship? And sometimes it shouldn't be just because you are broke. Some people talk so horribly of your economic background, how poor you are, and so you should be given a scholarship. That's not all. Otherwise, everybody in the street can go for a scholarship. But you should articulate how relevant that will be to um your academic dreams. You must articulate what special quality you possess that you bring on board, what special skill you possess that you bring on board when granted the scholarship. You should talk about things that let you stand out, that are relevant, skills, leadership role. How are you going to use the knowledge you will gain after your studies? That's what are your career goals? Are you intending to study to gain in-depth knowledge so you can offer consultancy to um, consultation services to uh, um, government, company or institutions, or you want to become a researcher, lecturer, whatever it is, you should be able to articulate and how that scholarship will help you achieve that, and how will you contribute to society, as I have already said. So you should practice around this area. If you want more information about scholarships, interviews, you should check learn more about them. And then probably finally you should apply to multiple scholarships. Scholarships are quite competitive, as I said. Everybody wants to study on scholarship, even those who can still afford to pay. They want to study on scholarship. Sometimes you you have to work and study at the same time. That is very difficult thing. It's not undoable, it's doable, but it's difficult. So if you would have scholarship cater for these expenses, and then you don't have to work, you can focus 100% attention um, on your studies and excel and attract the best job that you want afterwards. So because it is competitive, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You must diversify. Apply to multiple scholarships, but also select the scholarships where you most qualify. Otherwise, you'll be doing too much work. I know I did it. I wrote, I sent over 200 applications after my undergraduate, and you can see how inexperienced I was. I sent them. I started from towards the end of 2012. 2013, I was putting them. I was getting partial funding UK, partial funding UK, and UK's fees £17,000 at the time. And if they give you 50%, I mean, even if they asked me to raise £2,000, I couldn't. So The partial meant nothing to me. But I kept on applying. 2014, whilst I was on my PC, something popped up, or I was searching scholarship for, and I saw Czech government scholarship. At the same time, I saw the Waki Waki scholarship, West Africa Center for Crop Improvement at the University of Ghana. I applied for this too, and God being so good, I had them both in 2015, and I chose the Czech government scholarship. So apply. You will succeed in some you will fail. If you get multiple, if you are offered admission for more than one, you choose the one which is more satisfactory or more satisfying, or which offers you the best among the lot, and then you go with it. By so doing, believe strongly that um, I believe strongly that your chance of gaining more, or you widen your chance of succeeding at least in one of them. Never lose hope. Never think that you have done too much. When I was talking about my story, I think some people will think that I have been exaggerating as to how many scholarships I applied. I applied to Taiwan, got scholarships in Taiwan. I got one in Taiwan, but then there was the embassy in Nigeria, and I didn't even have what it takes to fly to Nigeria and live in a hotel to apply for my visa. A lot went into that, and sometimes due to inexperiences, you don't even know how well to craft your application document and stuff. So we did mistakes, we learned from them, we did again until I started calling people to talk, share their experiences with my audience and stuff. And then eventually we came to learn that people also applied for over 100 and 150 scholarships before they succeeded in one of them. I I didn't use paid services. I'm not saying paid services are not good. Um, they can be expensive, but they can help you to overcome some inexperiences. But you have to be involved in your scholarship application, so that when there is a need for interview, you can speak to things that you have achieved or things that you have done, where you can speak Hi, I'm sorry, I my network just went off, so I'm back live and I will take your questions in the next 1 or 2 minutes, but give me just a moment to finalize what I was talking about. Yeah. So as I said, you should seek guidance and feedback from people who are experienced, consult teachers, mentors, or past scholarship recipients for guidance. Join scholarship group online, Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit, or share for shared experiences. I have a scholarship group on WhatsApp that we share experiences, we update people on available scholarships. People are able to share links and credible scholarship information. These days, it's quite easy to get informed or to stay informed. So don't lose guard on this. Get your essays and application reviewed by someone who is experienced, and this will go a long way to help maximize your success. Tomorrow, we are going to continue at the same time by looking at some selected scholarship requirements. And with this, I'm going to select scholarships that undergraduate students will qualify, and also postgraduate students will qualify, maybe two, three of them. And after the um after the after checking the criteria, we would go through the application steps online so that you will learn the steps and be able to do it yourself. So when you need help, it might be just with the document revision and all that. I hope that a lot of people will be empowered through these um, workshops to learn more and to be able to apply to study abroad on scholarships by themselves. Let's help rich people to learn and do this, because if you are a needy person who cannot afford to pay tuition fees in your home universities, it will be difficult to hire a study abroad expert to provide services for your study abroad dream. And so it is important to know how to do it yourself. That is why I have captioned um, my channel, Do It Yourself Study Abroad with myself. So thank you for your audience. I will take the only question I have here, and it's from Daniel. Daniel is asking, please say, I am an undergrad international student already enrolled in a university, first year in US, with a current GPA of 4.0, but I need scholarship to help my education. Can I be eligible? Definitely. I could have advised you if I knew the exact university you are and the program you are pursuing. As I said, some scholarships you can apply to enroll before you start the program, but for others, you can apply whilst you are in the university. So, Daniel, please check your university website for excellence, or even your faculty website for merit-based scholarship for excellence students. Even in some universities where people uh, have to pay for their studies, if they achieve a certain score um, for their first year study or first term or whatever, they their fees are refunded. So it is very important to know what opportunities are available as a brilliant student. 4.0 over 4.0 is a great achievement, whether it's just the first semester or the second semester. I strongly believe that there are a number of scholarships you can attract. You can also talk to your study department, or there are funding and scholarship coordinators in most United States universities. Consult with these departments and see which scholarships you are eligible to apply to. Oh, okay. Daniel is saying again something here. Let's see. I've gotten merit-based scholarship already, but it's not enough, and I applied some recently. But I look forward to adding some new ones for this reason. Yes, so Daniel, so in your case, what you can look out for is look outside the institution. I mentioned about Fulbright scholarship. It's not institution specific. There are even Ghana, if you are from Ghana, or depending on where you are from, an African country, your country might be eligible for eligible for this scholarship, and even you are in school, you can still apply for that. There is also the MasterCard Foundation. There is also the World Bank. So really check out, and you can add more, especially if, like you said, if the scholarship is not taking complete care of you, it doesn't restrict you to adding more. So maybe look outside the institution for NGOs or other organizations which are offering scholarships for international students, and I think this will go a long way to help you. I agree with you. Please do. And like you are doing, keep on applying for any small grant or scholarships that will be available through your institution. Don't give small opportunities a chance or let them go. All right, so Dania, I think I don't know from where you are joining, either through, yeah, you are joining through YouTube. So check my YouTube, my how to say, my email address is there. Write to me. I will send you my phone number, and we can interact on that, and I will see how I can help you through to identify some scholarships that will help you. And I agree, yeah, yes, to public. So yes, let's chat in private and see how best we can navigate through this. All right. Thank you all, guys. I really do appreciate your time and effort and commitment to watch. Kindly find time to share and like my videos. You can go through my channel and look at what videos are available and how they can help you fulfill your study abroad dreams. And tomorrow at 6:30 uh, GMT, Greenwich Meridian Time, we are meeting to consider. And yeah, for the sake of Daniel, I am going to add some scholarships that even you are already in school, you can apply to. I will do that research for you. So yes, let's talk backstage, and again, let's meet tomorrow. And yeah, here is Abubakari Fuseini. Please, I applied to university but was not given admission. The following year, if I wish to apply for the same university, should I use the same account or should I change an account? I think I know the reason why you're asking this question, but I would be a little bit skeptical in my answer. Don't think that it is because of the account. If you use the same account, they are going to deny you admission. No, it doesn't work that way. You can use the same account to apply 3 times to the same university, and once you have fulfilled what they require you to do, they will definitely give you admission. It's not like you'll be blacklisted. that you didn't get it the first time, so you're not going to get it if you use the same route. So please keep the same account, but go back to the drawing board, review the admission requirement, review your document, and as I said, find someone. You can send your documents to me. I do promise that I will review, but sometimes it can take time because I get overwhelmed with the request, and I also have my personal job that I need to do and other obligations. So I can check them for you, and we can identify together why you were not given admission, and we can do the necessary corrections and put the application again. And for sure, because you know this university and you are familiar with what they require and probably what you did wrong or what you did right, it will be easy to apply to the same university again and this time around get admitted. So don't lose hope. Do the right thing, and it doesn't matter whether you change your account or not, you will still get it. And changing the account wouldn't change that much because it will be if your name is Abubakar Husseini that you use the previous application, you're going to use that same name, So how much change can you uh, can you make in terms of this application? Yeah. Any more questions, please put in the comment section and let me take them. I will give 5 minutes. I would not, if I will not receive any further questions, then I would call it a day. In the meantime, um, um, go after this, go back to my previous videos. I have quite some interesting videos and scholarships available for every one of you, both for undergraduate studies and also for postgraduate studies. Very much information out there for you to succeed. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Abubakar Daniel is advising you should try to extend your boundaries, apply for more schools, and you'll find uh and you'll be fine. Please, just a suggestion. Yeah, Danny, it's I agree. When we go back to when you go back to my slides, I did say that apply to multiple scholarships, or if not scholarship, still apply to multiple schools. I have told you my own story, and that should motivate you unless you joined quite late. So my understanding is yes, because he asked specific question, I gave him specific answer. So maybe in addition to applying to other schools or universities and scholarships, he still want to pursue this, try the first one again, and that is not out of place to try, as long as he feels that he didn't do something right, but this time around he's done something right. So if that is the case, then there is no problem um, trying it again. I'm going to use the opportunity to share my link to my our scholarship group on WhatsApp, so you can click the link and join so that you can always access available scholarship and information. We have colleagues in the United States studying on scholarship at various stages, bachelor's, master's, and PhD, who also frequently share such information with us. So please um, use this link to join. It's a free information. It's a free world, and if I have information that will help somebody to know more, it's it's good to share. Oh, so please can you ask it here because I think the questions from my Facebook I'm not getting it. Oh, okay. I see it. I see it. Um, please, when applying for scholarships, do you have to first apply to the school or do you apply for the scholarship first? That's a good question. Ajima. I don't know if it's the same person called Ajima. Yeah, but this is really a good question. So it depends on the criteria spelled out on the scholarship. So for some NGOs and let's say institutions which are not university based, right? You may have to gain admission for a specific study program, and then you will use your admission information to apply for the scholarship. So these are external funding agencies. In that case, yes, you must apply to the university first, get admitted, and then use your admission form to, or your admission letter to apply for that scholarship. For some scholarships, the application to the scholarship and the admission is the same. For example, for Erasmus Mundus scholarship, you do the application, you say the program you want, and you show that you are applying for Erasmus Mundus scholarship. No separate um, um, applications for the scholarship and the admission. And then for some institutional scholarships, like let's say university specific scholarships, they advertise. For example, in USA, when you go to the program website, some of them they will say that all students who are admitted to this program are offered scholarship on admission. So once you go through that application process, get selected for interview, pass your interview and get admitted, you know that you're automatically qualified. But for some, you have to, again, even within the same institution, you have to apply for admission and then follow it up with the scholarship application. And sometimes the scholarship application is just a tick that I want to also apply for the scholarship. So um so it's important to know more about the uh, re- requirement. Every scholarship has a specific and different requirement, and that's why I said that tomorrow, same time, we are going to look at some specific scholarship requirements and the application process. So we will look into that. Someone asked, please, I offered a Bachelor of Economics education. Can I switch to offer masters in psychology in any educational process? Since we are talking about scholarship, I believe that you are asking if you can switch and apply for this in in anticipation of getting a scholarship. Whoa, whoa, that's a good question. And I earlier on advised that if I studied agriculture, I wouldn't go and use my agriculture background to compete in a scholarship meant for business administration masters. Right. The reason being that um, there will be already a lot of people with business administration bachelor's background applying for the same, and they will look at the relatedness of my previous study to the new study program before they will consider my application uh, for scholarship. So if that is the case, I will not advise. But if you are going to self-sponsor and you have a strong motivation, convincing CV, let's say you studied economics, right? But following your economic study, you found yourself working in a area where psychology was more important and you acted. For example, I studied agric, and following my agric, I was working as a salesperson for Samsung for 3 years. If I was interested in marketing, business and stuff, and I want to fund myself, I could leverage my experience in the sales field or marketing field to pursue marketing. But no, I was still interested in the in my agric, so I went that direction. The challenge is that if you are switching and the competition is too much, you may fall out, because if they are looking at the relatedness of your program the um to the n- to the new program you are applying to, you would score less. Secondly, if it's going to require some research, the master study is an advanced form of study. They are not going to introduce principles of psychology and stuff. You will need to do extra work to cover up for the fundamentals that you didn't study back in bachelor's. I did that and I suffered. I know what I'm saying. I did bachelor's of agric. I did master's in natural resource and environment, which is quite related to agric, soil science, hydrology, crop and soil relations. So it was quite okay, my bachelor's and master's. But my PhD, I ventured into parasitology, biomedical science, and I became so frustrated that I almost gave up, because I had very limited knowledge in the field and I needed to do a lot of work. So instead of graduating in 4 years, I did in 6 years. Thank God I still managed to finish. So I don't really recommend switching, but if you find a legitimate interest in a particular field after you have gained a lot of knowledge and information, I would say that then go for it and be ready to make some sacrifices in order to succeed. And the last question is, please, the volunteer work, does it include national service? Oh, yeah, I have said this a lot. Yes, you can count it as work experience or national service. This is voluntary, but also compulsory. You have to do it. Of course, some people do not do it, but yeah, it's compulsory for Ghana. So yeah, you can capture it under voluntary, or you can capture it under work experience, whichever way feels better for you. So let's say that you have enough work experience, but you don't have any voluntary experience, but you want to show on your CV that you did some voluntary work and stuff. You can use your um you can use your national service as a voluntary work. Yeah, voluntary but required. Let me see if there is any other question here on the Facebook page. Yeah, it seems that is all. So thank you all. I don't want to take too much of your time anymore. Tomorrow we're going to probably do more hands work. And please, if possible, come with a laptop so that you can follow the steps, or I mean the recording will be available. So anytime you think you forgot something, you can just check and do it. I want you to go through the application process with me, be active participant, and if following today's meeting, go through the video, check some of the scholarships I mentioned, read about them. If you feel like you qualify, get ready to apply to them for after tomorrow's experience. Thank you all and see you again tomorrow. God bless you and have a good night wherever you are. If you are in US, Daniel, I think that you are still enjoying some sunlight. So do enjoy your day and let's meet again tomorrow. God bless you. Bye.